In this video, let us see about the implementation of structure array variable. So you can refer to the implementation of structure by using a single variable in the last video. So let us first start with the header file, and the use case here which I am going to take out is the student database. So header file hash include standard input output .h, and we are going to define the structure. So defining the structure, struct student database, so student db, and when I'm defining the structure, we have to include the structure member. So the structure members for this student database is the roll number and the name. So roll number can be defined as integer int roll number, and name can be defined as a character array, so char name of 10. The size of the array is 10. Now, once the structure members are created, we have to define the structure variable. So here I am defining the structure variable as an array structure variable. So we have defined an infinite structure array variable. So the reason why that we are going out for a structure array variable is when we want to get for n number of students. When we have a single structure variable, we can get it only for one student. Whereas when we go for structure array variable, we can get for n number of students. So now let us write down the main function. So int main of, within the main function, we are going to get the value of the name and the roll number for the n number of students. So let us use a variable, say n, which is of an integer data type, and let us ask from the user what is the number of students that is required. So let us ask from the user to enter the value of the number of students. So printf enter the number of student, and through scanf statement the user can give the input. So the number of student is given as the variable n, and the control string to be used is %d, comma, ampersand n, ending up with a semicolon. Now we have to get the input for n number of students from the user. So how do I use? I can use a for loop for the variable I. So I'm just going to declare it here. So I comma n for I is equal to 0, I lesser than n, I plus plus. I'm just going to write down statement for getting the input from the user for name and the roll number. So printf will ask the user to enter the name. So through scanf statement, the user gives the input. %yes is a control string to get the name from the user. And since we have initialized the structure variable as an array, now we are supposed to give the structure array variable here. So s of I, variable I, then the dot operator, the name, ending up with the semicolon. Now let us ask the user to enter the roll number. So enter the roll number. So the user will enter the roll number through the scanf statement. So scanf, the control string here is %d, comma, we can store the value in some address, so ampersand, the structure array variable s of I dot, then the roll number, ending up with the semicolon. So now we have got the input from the user. So for n number of students, the input can be obtained through this formula. Now, how do we print the input that we have obtained? Again, we have to use a for loop for I is equal to 0, I lesser than n, I plus plus. I have to write a printf statement. So printf, within the printf, I'm just using an escape sequence to print it line by line. So name colon, the control string is %s, comma, the structure array variable s of I dot name ending up with the semi, and the printf statement to print the roll number. So a new line escape sequence, the roll number colon percentage, it is integer data type, so %d, comma, s of I dot the roll number ending up with the semicolon. So now, as we have used the main function to return an integer data type, so we'll write down the keyword return 0. Now let us run this code. So go to execute, compile it. So when you compile, save the file with .c extension. This is the structure array variable. Saving it up. So it is throwing up an warning. It does not matter. Now let us run the code. When you run the code, it is asking me to enter the number of students. Let me enter the number of students as 2. Let me enter the name, Priya. The roll number is 100. And the name of the second student, say it is Blessing. And the roll number is 200. And the student detail is displayed here. So this is how you can get the student detail for n number of students by using the structure array variable.